Chicago Police Department, along with a lot of police departments, they do an honorable job. Most of the folks are good folks. Some of the folks shouldn't be on a department. That's with any job. Policing is no different. I call it like I see it. When they do good, I'm hurrah, hooray, all, blue line and everything. I'm sorry, you're not going to find somebody so true blue like me. But when some things are suspect, given that I'd like to be a criminal defense attorney, I'm calling balls and strikes here. And I don't like that gun buyback program. Something about that just doesn't seem right. First of all, I want you to understand something. Chapter 430 Illinois Compiled Statutes Act 65 mandates, I say again, mandates, that in order for you to be able to possess or purchase a firearm, stun gun, or taser or ammunition in this state of Illinois, you have to have an FOID card. That being said, local agencies and local units of government are not allowed to preempt state law. In other words, they are not allowed to supersede the laws of this state to allow certain things to happen. So the gun buyback program is already a violation of Chapter 430 Illinois Compiled Statutes Act 65. Why do we say this? I say this because in order for you to be able to have a no questions asked, you would have to ignore the fact that they are coming in there with guns and question them about whether or not they are lawfully authorized to possess the gun that they just turned in. That's one, okay? Second of all, I looked at this. Now, I understand the concept behind it. The concept is laudable. We want to get guns off the street. We're not getting cooperation from the community in terms of solving these homicides. So let's have a gun buyback program to where we allow people to turn in the guns, no questions asked. And I used to think like no questions asked. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's cool. People are turning it in under the condition of anonymity, meaning that I can remain anonymous even though my physical presence isn't anonymous. I can remain anonymous and turn in my guns. Except when I used to look at previous pictures of the Chicago Police gun buyback program, I never seen, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I am always open to being corrected. I don't care what you say about me. I'm always open to being corrected. But I never seen these white 5x7 cards that had the appearance of what appears to be a digit impression and a rolled impression of a fingerprint. And these cards are so neatly placed to where they do not overlap on the tabs. If it were just tabs, why not collect them all together, put them in a pile? And so I'm also looking at a Dunkin' Donuts cup. For those of you all who have not seen the pictures, go back on my profile, Mike Brown, and look at the pictures that I posted of the recent Chicago Police gun buyback program, okay? And I look at the Dunkin' Donuts cup, and if you're looking at the picture, look in the upward left direction, and you'll see what appears to be an ink pad. What appears to be an ink pad. And so if you look at it, it's like, okay, it's under the auspice of anonymity, you being anonymous, but as a condition of turning in this gun, we take your fingerprint. We're not going to ask your name. We're not going to ask where you live, who you're from, or where you're from, your date of birth. We're not going to ask any of that. We're just going to thank you for the gun, take your fingerprint, put it right here, take the rolled impression of just one fingerprint, and then you get your $100 if it's a real gun, or you get your $10 if it's a BB gun. Now, some of you I don't want to say not smart. That's wrong. I'm sorry about that. Some of you that are innocently ignorant, if such a word exists, innocently ignorant, yes, to the criminal justice system will say, well, Mike is just a fingerprint. What harm could that be? A lot of harm. Here's the reason why. That seems like entrapment, Patsy. That seems like entrapment. Those fingerprints can be entered into the automated fingerprint identification system, otherwise known as AFIS. Just that one digit. Okay? And so, some of you watching may be like, well, if you haven't committed a crime, if you don't live a criminal lifestyle, then what should you have to worry about? A lot. Here's the reason why. So let's just say you're attending your friend's house, right? You're having fun, doing whatever, right? And you're touching shit, because that's what we do. We touch stuff, right? Pick up stuff, bottle, glass, water bottle, this, that, touching shit, right? And then you leave. You, law-abiding citizen, John Q. Public, you leave. And then some debauchery, tomfoolery happens at this location. A murder happens at this location. The first thing they are going to do, as any good crime scene investigator will do, is try to dust the area for fingerprints. And if your fingerprint is on there, because you don't know where this happened, why it happened, what happened, if your fingerprint is there, they are going to collect those fingerprints. How do they collect those fingerprints? They pull out the fingerprint kit. They begin to see, you take your flashlight, you put it against a surface. If it's a surface where you see there's a fingerprint, you can see the ridges, the different whorls, the loops. Oh, we got a good fingerprint here. Next thing you know, they take out tape after dusting it so that the little powders stick to the fingerprint. Next thing you know, then you lift the fingerprint, put it on the card, and then you run it through APHIS. Guess who just popped up having been at that crime scene when you were never there? You. Now, there are certain things that could mitigate this. If there is cameras, or if there are cameras that show that you weren't there, okay, it mitigates this, right? If there are other witnesses who may attest, who are believable, it mitigates this, possibly. But let's just say there are no cameras. Let's just say there are no witnesses. Now you're a part of a crime scene you were never at. All because you gave them something to connect you to anything that could be possible. Now there's a possibility you could be arrested for something you didn't even do. A place you weren't even at the time of the situation going down, of the crime, of the murder, whatever the case may be. And so that's why it looks, I'm sorry, if I'm not right, correct me. But as a future criminal defense lawyer, I am saying this looks like entrapment. If that's what that is. If those are fingerprint cards. And I'm sorry, my education and experience leads me to believe those are fingerprints. Now, someone would sit there and say, well, Mike, you've never been Chicago police. To which I would say, you are absolutely right. Not saying that's a good thing. Not saying that's a bad thing. But one thing I'm saying is this. Don't discount my experience. See, Chicago police, you all have a heavy frequency of crimes that occur. You do. I throw my hands up. You're right? Homicide detectives from the suburbs versus homicide detectives in the city, that's almost like night and day. I will tell you that. Okay? But here we go. Don't sleep on the Suburban Cop, baby. Don't sleep on the Suburban Cop. See, Chicago police, you guys go to the academy for longer than we do. Okay? You guys learn a lot. Okay? You really do. But you get out there and you're patrol. Blue and white, see a lot of stuff, get to the crime scene as preliminary investigators, and you sit there and you cordon off the scene, separate witnesses. Great. Who comes on scene? Area South, Area Central, Area North Detective Division. You got to make a call to evidence technicians to come out and process the scene. As a former suburban cop, we don't have such a luxury. You all got booking officers and all the beautiful stuff. You just make the arrest, write the report, ship them on off, see them at court. Shit, I wish that was the case. Let me see. We got to respond to the scene, And chances are, it's a lot that could be going on. It's maybe 2 or 3 of us on duty. We got to respond to the scene. Once we get there, we got to cordon things off. Maybe as a patrol officer, I'm also cross-trained and state certified as an evidence technician. So now I got a kit in the car. I got to break out the kit. I got to sit here and do this. Oh, and did I mention I'm also cross-trained as an Illinois state certified homicide detective? How about that? So now I got to sit here and give statements. I got to sit here and collect plates. I got to sit here and do this. And then hopefully if the guy is there on scene and after we make the arrest, then I got to sit here and then he's in the lockup. After we get through doing all this, guess what I got to do? That's right, sports fans. I got to go ahead to the back of the lockup, fingerprint this guy, enter him into clear, separate his personal property, get his packets all together. After calling the the Cook County State's Attorney felony review, right? Because maybe this is a case that doesn't require a detective, or if it does, I have to work with a detective. And then after the detective gets the felony approval, that's right, I got to put together the 3 packets that has to go over to him when he goes to felony bond court in the morning. So don't sleep on the Suburban Cop. We got to do a lot of shit that you guys don't even have to do. You don't have the luxury, right? So, saying all that to say this, I think I'm immensely qualified to say those look like fingerprint cards. Why? Because here's another thing about my experience. I also used to work at a very, very, very impoverished police department in a very, very, very impoverished suburb. And when I first got there, for maybe the first 3 years of the time that I was there, we didn't have a live scan machine. So we had to do ink fingerprints of a lot of the prisoners that we took into custody. And I made a lot of arrests. So I've done a lot of ink fingerprinting, baby. What you guys take for advantage, I know all too well about. Those look like ink fingerprints. And if that is the case, that is the classic case of entrapment. You've collected their fingerprints under the auspices of a gun buyback program. Now, the 4th Amendment to the United States Constitution is very specific. The right of the people to be secured in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place to be searched or the persons or things to be seized. So please tell me, please tell me, why did you have to get their fingerprints? If it's under the condition of anonymity and it's supposed to be anonymous, they turn in the gun, you give them the money, you get, that's it. That should be it. So why did you get their fingerprints? Now, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But they have a saying, once you ring a bell, you cannot unring that bell. Once you ring a bell, you cannot unring that bell. I can't unsee what I saw, especially since I have previous pictures of the times where you all have done gun buyback programs, and I've never seen those tabs there. So I got questions. If you're collecting fingerprints, big if, I'll, concede an argument if it's not that. But let's just say it is, because I think it is, right? If you're collecting fingerprints, how many cases provide a reason? We collected such and such fingerprints, and these gun buyback programs have led to such and such case being solved. This gun was connected to this. We ran the ballistics of this gun, and we entered the bullet into the, I think it's IBIS, the bullet indexing system, and we were able to trace this bullet to this gun to this crime, and this fingerprint to this person who came to the gun buyback. What are the statistics? If you're taking fingerprints, you got to justify it. You got to justify it, because I'm not seeing the reason for taking their fingerprints, because that's not the condition of anonymity. Your fingerprint is your identity. And the only way that you are lawfully authorized to take someone's fingerprint is for a criminal. I'm a licensed fingerprint vendor. I can't snatch someone's hand and say, you're going to go on ahead and get fingerprinted for this purpose. They have to willingly submit to the fingerprint process after having filled out a bunch of paperwork. Why? Specifically because of the 4th Amendment. Because no government agency can lawfully dive into your background by way of your fingerprints unless they have your permission, because to do so violates the fourth. So why? Help me out. I'm nobody. But that gun buyback program looks, with those fingerprints, that looks like entrapment. Because why would they knowingly give you their fingerprints? For $100? Now, the definition of an entrapment, we can talk about this. Look, if this person would already have been fingerprinted, and we just happen to have collected it, then that takes away the definition of an entrapment. But if this person doesn't have the propensity to already do this thing, and then they are enticed to do this thing, and then later on you use this fingerprint to connect them to this or to that, that's entrapment. That's entrapment. I'm not against the gun buyback program if it was just on the basis of collecting the gun and giving them the $100 under the condition of anonymity. But then I do have a problem with certain parts of the gun buyback program, because if it's under the condition of anonymity, I would like to be there to observe one day to see the racial makeup of those turning in those guns. Because if it's the case that you are able to circumvent 430 ILCS Act 65, then I should be able to do a gun buyback program too. I should be able to do one too. The average citizen should be able to do one too. Except if we do one, that's conspiracy to commit. You know, it's wrong. I'm sorry. What are your thoughts? Do I seem like I'm on something, or am I just losing it? Somebody help me out. Looks like entrapment. That's exactly what that looks like. And I can see, well, you were at the scene of such and such. I wasn't there. We pulled your fingerprint. If you weren't there, how was your fingerprint there? Well, that's my friend's house. Well, your fingerprint was there on the day in question. How do you even know it was my fingerprint? How do you even know it was me? That's right, your fingerprint was automatically entered into APHIS because you participated in a gun buyback program, and under the condition of anonymity, we never asked you your name, but we took your fingerprint as a condition to get the $100. Does that violate the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution? Is that an unlawful intrusion? Is that a deception? Okay, I get it. The police are allowed to lie. I get it. There's case law on that. But damn, if this is allowed, then why should people participate in the gun buyback program? If they're going to be connected, I'm not saying they are, but if the possibility is they can be connected to future crimes that may take place simply because they happen to have been in the area and a fingerprint happened to have been lifted. So if you're listening to me and you live in the city of Chicago, don't participate in any more gun buyback programs until we get answers from the Chicago Police Department. Don't participate. If you participate in the gun buyback program and those are fingerprints and you do get connected to something, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. You heard it here. I'm not against the Chicago Police Department. I'm not against the city of Chicago. You will never find a video where you see me talking about the whole of the Chicago Police Department. I am not an activist in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But I am a defender of the Second Amendment. I am a defender of being wrongfully arrested. If you did the crime, you do the time. But I am not for disarming people who need to defend themselves. I am not for getting fingerprints under the auspices of a gun buyback program. You want this $100? Give me your gun. We need your fingerprint. Shit, I need that $100. Well, we need your fingerprint. We ain't gonna ask you your name. We're not gonna ask you your birthday. We don't want any of that stuff, but you gotta get those fingerprints. I'm not for that. You clever, sly fox. And the thing is, you have no one else to blame but your photographer. Your photographer was the one who messed up. That's who messed up. You weren't supposed to get pictures of that. You were just supposed to get pictures of us tagging the guns. You were not supposed to get pictures of the fingerprints we perhaps maybe lawfully took. If you live in Chicago and you own guns, if you want to sell them, find someone who has a FOI card who will gladly buy that gun for $100. If $100 is what you want, there are lawfully abiding gun owners who will be happy to take that gun off your hands, provided it looks good. It's got some serial number on it, right? And it don't like it's been involved in the first 48, right? They will take that gun off your hands for $100. And we ain't going to get no fingerprint. Now, you're going to have to get some identifying information. You're going to have to give that. It can't be under the condition of anonymity. Why? Because it's called a private-to-private firearms transaction. But we're not going to give your stuff to the police unless they do a audit of maybe your firearms records. There's always that too, right? But your fingerprint is not going to be an APHIS. You're not going to be connected to what could be a crime scene because you don't know what your friends do, right? You don't know that. You could be someplace and all of a sudden something happens and your fingerprint was someplace. And next thing you know, we got your stuff in APHIS because we took a whole bunch of prints. It was all over the place. And next thing you know, you're connected to something you had nothing to do with. That's all I got. You got comments, you got questions, put them in there. Does it sound like, am I just ranting? Or does it sound like this is something that should be looked into? What do you think? Put your comments below. Thumbs, likes, mad emojis, do something. Let me know. I think this is something that should be looked into. I think so. It looks like entrapment. And as if the community doesn't already have enough. As if we don't need to get together and band together and protect each other on our own. You take away the guns under the auspices of a gun buyback program, and then you fingerprint folks. And then someone tried, I'm not going to say this person's name. I respect this person who tried. Thank you for trying, but you failed. Well, Mike, those are tabs. Those seem to be cards that have tape on them. Why are they cards that have tape on them? They are cards that have tape on them because as soon as I get that rolled impression or that digit slap, I need to have something to protect it. What better to protect it than tape? Come on now. Prove me wrong. All right. I just wanted to spend a little time with you guys on that and talk about that just for a little bit, okay? You said, Mike, if this was the case and the person didn't want to give their fingerprint or give their print, could they keep the gun and not participate in the gun buyback? I would assume that to be the case. I would assume that to be the case. Yeah. Because I don't think they're going to force you to do that. But then there's the other aspect of it. You walk outside that door. Hey, let's stop this person to see if they have a FOI card. I'm just saying. I can see that happening too. I'm reading your comment, Rob. You said it could be there if in the event someone known for a warrant. It is Chicago. No. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because, come on, man. I get it, right? I get the law enforcement operations that are designed to catch people who have warrants and stuff like that. But you violate the catch-22. I'm going to go back up there and read that, Rob. I am. You violate the trust that you're trying to rebuild in the community when you do stuff like that. There's just something about that. And I could see, after getting out of law school and being admitted to the bar and criminal defense lawyer and all that stuff, I could see fighting one of these cases. I could see doing that. I could see doing that. I can see that. Rob Shuttle, he says, Rob, if I got your last name wrong, don't you come at me. Catch-22, show up to hand in a gun, refuse to fingerprint, take the gun back, and get arrested for possession of a firearm. Yeah, I can see that happening too, Rob. I can see that too. And so it's like, you brought the gun in, We already circumvented 430 ILCS 65 that says you have to have a FOID card in order for you to be able to possess the firearm. So we've circumvented that and allowed there to be an open forum for you to bring this firearm to us in violation of the FOID Card Act, which is state law that the city of Chicago cannot preempt, for the exclusive authority to regulate the possession of firearms lies within the state of Illinois. And I can see that happening. Does the police provide a waiver or something? Or just walk in and walk out, gun fingerprint? I don't know. That would be a good question. Colin Wilson asked, wouldn't the serial number give them away anyways if the purchase was legal? Who knows? You would have to do an F-tip check through ATF. You would have to do that to find out where the original manufacturer, and then start tracing it from this person. Well, this person sold it to this person. Let's go there. Let's see your records. This person has it or sold it to this person. Then let's go there. This person has it, then you would have to go through all that. Or if it was stolen. Yeah, I'm not saying gun buyback programs don't have their benefits, but I can't see the fingerprinting being something that doesn't violate the fourth. Yeah, you can have a waiver, but that's not what you're advertising. You're not advertising that this is the Chicago Police gun buyback program, no questions asked. And if you think about it, okay, it's not false advertisement per se. They are not asking questions. They're just giving you stipulations. They're not asking questions. They're not saying, do you want to be fingerprinted to turn in this gun? What are they likely saying? Get fingerprinted, get your card. We're not going to ask you any questions about who you are, and then have a good day. It's a fine line. I'm uneducated about some things. I'm honest about that. I'm just curious. I've never seen it as a fingerprinting thing. I thought it was just you walk in. You said stipulations. I said stipulations. But I just thought it was just one of those, you walk in. I'm going to read your comment, John. You walk in, and then when you walk in, you just hand them the gun. And as long as they verify that, A, it is a gun, whether it's defaced or not, whether it's this or that, you hand in the gun, they give you the card, you walk out. Not get fingerprinted. John Coyne says, by the way, that racist FOID racket might be going away per the state Supreme Court later this year, God willing. I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping so too. Because then you don't have to worry about fixing the FOID. There's no FOID to fix. I'm just saying. What's going on, Gunny Meddards? How you doing? Tamika Weeks, what's going on? You just joined. Sandra Briggs, you said, makes sense what you're saying. You have enlightened me. Thanks. I appreciate that. Patsy, I don't know if they sign a waiver. I don't know. State of Illinois versus Vivian Brown. Yes, that's the name of the case. I've always looked at the gun buyback program as a setup anyway in some fashion. Yeah, it just now those of us who attend, teach, whatever, conceal carry, we know that local law can't preempt state law. You learn about this in your concealed carry class. So if local law can't preempt state law, what gives the Chicago Police the department the authority to preempt the FOID Card Act, which requires that you have to have a FOID card to possess the gun, to then bring the gun to the buyback, to sell the gun under the condition of anonymity, only to be fingerprinted? It sounds like a big-ass trap. It sounds like a big trap. Yeah. Okay. So, under the sound of my voice, you live in the city of Chicago. Do not participate in that gun buyback program till the City of Chicago Police Department gives us answers. Because I want to know if they are fingerprints. I'm not about to go down there and protest the City of Chicago. Hell no. It's serious, but it's not that serious. I'm not an activist. Don't put me in that category. Shit, no. Sorry. But I got questions. Why? Because I'm a Second Amendment loving, freedom loving, self-protecting, teach your ass you got to protect yourself, that the police cannot protect us in our community but us protecting us, black guy that wants everybody to be able to protect themselves because we have a right to do so. That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm not against the Chicago police. And I've been falsely arrested twice by them. One on both occasions. Not guilty, baby. Right? Not a bragging thing, because there was things I could have done differently. I'm just saying, right? You got some great cops out there, but you got some overzealous ones that should not be on the job. I'm just saying. Oh no, I'm just hoping that they're listening. That's all I'm hoping for, right? You want transparency? I'm just hoping that they're listening. That's all. What is that? Are those fingerprints? Please let me know. Well, Mike, those aren't fingerprints. Well, what are they? They look too distinct. They look too distinct. Look, when I get off this live, go to my page. Go to my page and look at that picture. They look too distinct. They look like fingerprints. And then look at the Dunkin' Donuts cup. That's an ink pad right there, because I got one. I just did a set of ink fingerprints 2 days ago. I know what it looks like. And I wear gloves when I do it. Right? Notice you're not wearing gloves when you're handling the pistol, but there's a pair of gloves right there. What are they for? Fingerprinting. Oh, Lord. I'm just saying. You said disposable contact lens cases? Right. With black residue on the outside of it? Come on now. No. I'm not going. And then the guy that's holding the gun in the picture has a shirt that says investigations. Really now? I'm just saying, your photographer messed up on this one, babes. So, yeah, don't go to that gun buyback program. If you want to sell your gun, find a dealer that's going to buy it. Hopefully you got all your paperwork for it, whatever the case may be. There are other legal ways to get rid of that gun. And if you want $100, look, you can get $100. I'm just saying, because that gun may be an antique worth way more than that. Or how about this? How about you get your butt in somebody's concealed carry class, 455 West 79th Street by Normal Avenue in Chicago, or someplace else, I don't care, right? But go to some place where they're going to train you and then learn how to use that gun. Get it cleaned, make sure it works, and then freaking use it at the range. At the range. Okay? Use it at the range. And then, God forbid, should you need to use it to defend yourself, be first, fast, and effective. All right? All right, I'm out of here. It's been nice chatting with y'all. We had a great concealed carry class today. It was big. We got more concealed carry classes coming up in the month of July, in the month of August. $75. Gun range, ammunition, range fee, gun use, air and eye protection, ammunition, targets, all that great stuff. Professor Fraud, what's going on there, sir? Thank you very much. Oh, all of you all who donated to my birthday, I'm going to put on that class, not this week, but next week, okay? I appreciate it. You paid for 28 seats for people on public assistance who want to get security training. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all for that. I really, really do. And you're going to see it. You're going to see the photos and all that great stuff. You know, maybe you can have a couple of folks share some stories. Who knows? Whatever they, we're going to do something with that, okay? So that way you can see that work. You said, do we charge to teach gun cleaning? I'm going to put on a class for gun cleaning, okay? Hopefully, those who need to learn can go to it, or otherwise you can go to YouTube. They always teach you how to do it, but I know you want that hands-on experience, okay? Because I'd like that too. All right, this is Instructor Mike. Go to YouTube, follow me on YouTube, Instructor Mike. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. This video is going to go on YouTube as well. Go to Instagram. Yes, Mike said it. You're already following me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Go visit MikeBrownsClass.com. Love you for it. I'm out of here. Got to get some sleep. You all take care. And again, thanks those of you all who donated. I love you guys. I really do. Let's keep it going. Take care.